Hello, welcome to LCG's preview for the week ahead. I'm going to discuss the US-China trade talks, this time in China, a deadline for preventing the next US government shutdown, and the so-called Valentine's Day vote for Parliament on Theresa May's Brexit deal. Before that, I'll run down the biggest events in the economic calendar. So on Monday, there is China foreign reserves, Japan machine tool orders, UK industrial production, UK trade balance, and German ZEW. On Tuesday, it's China foreign direct investment and the RBNZ rate decision. On Wednesday, it's China trade balance, UK CPI, and US CPI. On Thursday, it's Germany GDP and Eurozone GDP. Then finally, on Friday, it's China CPI, US industrial production, and US retail sales. Moving on to the top corporate results to watch this week. Acacia Mining reports full-year results, while MoneyGram International report Q4 earnings on Monday. ThyssenKrupp, TUI, Metro, Under Armour, Twilio, and TripAdvisor report fourth quarter numbers on Tuesday. Heineken, Randgold, and ABN AMRO report their full-year earnings, and Cisco Systems and Fossil Group report quarterly results on Wednesday. Puma, Commerzbank, Airbus, Micro Focus International, Credit Suisse, Nestlé, Renault and AstraZeneca offer full-year results, and Coca-Cola and Nvidia report quarterly numbers on Thursday. Allianz and RBS report full-year earnings, while Kraft Heinz and PepsiCo offer fourth quarter earnings on Friday. So just to discuss the US trade talks, we're probably expecting another nothing burger from this, because we've just had the Chinese representatives in the US. All we heard was a bit of speculation from representatives. We didn't really get any details, and I suspect much of the same will happen. The only trouble this time around is the more of these meetings we have, and fairly high level meetings as well, without any extra info, the bigger the concern is that a period of hiatus is actually becoming a risk factor to actually the US and China not coming together and having some form of deal at the end of this kind of period that Trump had initially negotiated with President Xi. So I think actually that whereas over the first few weeks of the year, the trade talks have been actually a positive for equity markets and positive for risk sentiment. Actually moving into next week, it's possible that suddenly the US dollar gets a bit more demand, perhaps equities come under pressure, because actually these trade talks are a downside factor. Obviously, there's other considerations here as well. Government shutdown being one. So there wasn't much to take away, as we've already discussed, from Trump's State of the Union address. But I think just in terms of the pure politics of the thing, there probably is going to be another shutdown. The Democrats, they got better polling last time around. Most people viewed Trump as to blame for the shutdown. So they're going to be more than happy not to back down and try and build some wall. And Trump is somewhat backed into a corner here. So obviously both political parties thinking of the 2020 election, and they're probably going to lock horns again and not come to an agreement means another government shutdown. Again, another sort of downside risk potentially here for markets. Obviously, if they do come to an agreement beforehand, that's a positive. And then we have this Valentine's Day vote. This is more specific to sterling, but we've seen sterling get pretty hammered in the last week or so. There was a little bit of a bounce during the Bank of England meeting, and I think that's fairly representative of what's going on here. We've got the economic forces. Yes, economic growth in the UK is slowing, but it is globally. In the UK, it's actually much stronger than it is in, for example, Germany, where next week the GDP figures may be about to show us that Germany's hit a technical recession. Growth is slowing, but actually wage pressures and inflation all look decent enough to justify rate rises. And this is sort of what Mark Carney said in the press conference. Fair play to him, but obviously Brexit's in the way at the moment. So that all being said, there's the economic situation, and then there's the politics. And so as far as the Valentine's Day vote, if Theresa May has not made any progress in Brussels, which at the time of filming she hasn't, if she's not able to renegotiate the Irish backstop, then I guess probably the most likely result is that vote just gets delayed, because what's the point in voting on the same thing again? A delay to this vote seems very likely at the moment. A delay to the March 29 deadline seems more remote at the moment. Theresa May still sticking with the idea that there is going to be some form of Brexit on March 29th, basically trying to keep the threat of a no-deal Brexit alive. But as we've been saying for a while now, this is just turning into a game of chicken between these two parties, and neither seemingly willing to back down, and probably won't do so until the last moment. So next week, potentially a big moment in Brexit, but I suspect it gets cancelled. Obviously, if some sort of favourable renegotiation happens with the Irish backstop and it gets into the text, there's a good chance her deal can pass and we're looking at Brexit in the rearview mirror. That probably isn't the most likely scenario here. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Good luck for trading this week. And if you want to see these videos as soon as they're released, please follow LCG on YouTube and social media.